Welcome back to Overtime here on WOTM. We're rejoined by Mark Everett Kelly. First off, Mark, let's talk about the big event in golf over the weekend. Phil Mickelson with a historic PGA tournament. It felt to me, with the crowds there, it's kind of the first real post-pandemic tournament. We've kind of seen these smaller crowds turn into bigger crowds, small crowds turn into bigger crowds. But obviously a historic win for Phil at age 50. Kind of a normal Phil day where he saw him kind of go up and down, play a little bit up and down, but he was able to end up getting it done.
Yeah, that is a beautiful course out there. When I was lived in Charleston, I worked at for a high school that for the weekend I got to go with their golf team,
right.
And I got to kind of watch over their golf. I was in my early 20s, and I was allowed to go along with them and be like their chaperone. And I just went to the beach and laid out for all three. It was great, but beautiful, beautiful island, great place to have a golf tournament. And to see Mickelson out there at his age, like we were talking about, 50 isn't old, but when you're going against guys that are real strong guys in their late 20s, early 30s, that are used to the grind, and Mickelson really isn't, at this point in his career, this was a real accomplishment. I mean, just think, 50 years old and being able to go out there with the Justin Spieths and some of those guys that can, hit the ball a million miles and going and winning a major. Everybody thought when Jack Nicklaus did it in 1986 at the Masters, wow, that was the height of all accomplishments. And some of these other names on this list, one from the British Open back in the 1860s as far as oldest. So we're not generally used to seeing really older guys, especially someone first time ever in their 50s winning a tournament. And if you remember, Lefty, how long it took for him to win a major.
Right.
People thought he was cursed and he wasn't going to ever win a major. But the things that he did really well in this tournament, I know on the front nine, he definitely dominated the front nine. That was a huge difference between the front nine and the back nine. He really won this tournament in the second and the third rounds in the front nine, shooting a 64, combined 64 for those 18 holes. I think that's where he really made most of his mark and where he got out ahead of the competition.
Exactly. One of the things he talked about was the sacrifice and being able to having to sacrifice a little bit of food so he doesn't get inflammation.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the thing with these older golfers. Now for Phil, he's got multiple green jackets. He's now got multiple PGAs. He's also got a Master. He's got Masters PGA. The one he's missing is obviously the U.S. Open. Is it one of those things where you think he can get it done now because he actually won this one? Because considering the fact that after the Masters, he finished 69th at the Wells Fargo and missed the cut at the tournament after that, do you think he has what it takes to kind of get to that next level and then win the career Grand Slam?
Well, I think if he, controlling his health situation is really very important. I mean, I have deal with a lot of inflammation too, as far as things that go on in my body. So I know the battle that he can face, and if you're able to combat that, you're surprised how much better you feel.
Right.
And then if you feel a lot better and you're going out there hitting a golf ball, you feel like you can do a lot more things than you could do before. Where if it's the opposite and you just have a day where your body's killing you and you got to make up for it, you can't do it at that age. You just can't. So if he's healthy enough to where he feels like he can go out there and compete at top level, I think you saw even with Tiger Woods in 2019 when he won the Masters again. You never know. If a guy puts together a couple good rounds, and especially him with the front nine, that second and third round really separated him from the pack. And as far as shots gained too, from tee to green, he did excellent.
Exactly.
Number one in the tournament. He had the most birdies in the tournament. He didn't have any eagles, but you don't need any eagles if you don't have many bogeys. And if you are able to have a lot of birdies, and he did in this tournament, and that's how he won.
Exactly. At age 50, Phil Mickelson wins the PGA Championship. This was him after talking about the historic measure of this mark and being able to call himself now a PGA Tournament Championship once again.
Certainly one of the moments I'll cherish my entire life. And I don't know how to describe the feeling of excitement and fulfillment and accomplishment to do something when at this magnitude when very few people thought that I could.
Mark, let's go to some of your breakdowns about this tournament and this feat here. Phil Mickelson, as you said, not just the oldest, but oldest by over a year. And then also you have the great name on the list with Jack, who did it back in his mid-40s.
Yeah, so by 31 months, he broke the record from Julio Boris back in 1968 as far as PGA Championship. And you have Tom Moore Sr., who, I mean, you remember that, right? Back in 1867 at the British Open?
I remember.
Common knowledge, of course.
Winning that championship back in 1867.
Right.
Scores per round there. One of the things that you really acknowledge on this is the fact that, I mean, he had a double bogey. He had 13 bogeys overall, 22 birdies. But like I said, this is not really a tournament where you have to go out and crush it. Let's take a look at the scores per round there, and especially in that second round and that third round. When that second round, when he shot that 69, I think that's the one that kind of gave him some confidence. But then going further than that in that third round, where he's still able to stay on top of the leaderboard, despite the fact that he still had that double bogey, despite the fact that he had double-digit bogeys, he was still in a good position.
Yep, and then you add to that the shot gained from tee to green, where some guys make it out on putting. You figure the average 50-foot putt, guys make 50-50 on that.
Right.
That's what shots gained are from tee to green, and he was number one in that for the tournament. And the other thing is he shot a 34 on the front nine for the tournament, 36 on the back nine for the tournament. He had 14 birdies and 15 pars on the front nine compared to 8 birdies and 20 pars on the back nine.
Right.
So he made up for it. If he didn't really have, when you look at the bogeys, only 14 bogeys all tournament, including 1 double bogey. He didn't have anything worse than that. And he was able just to be consistent. If you can consistently have a lot of birdies and a lot of pars, you're going to be able to score high numbers, and you're going to be able to compete on that final day, and that's essentially what he did. The final round was his worst round. It was also where he had the most bogeys.
Right.
But I think you kind of saw maybe at that point where his body was starting to turn on him a little bit. Like I know from dealing with the stuff I deal with, you can really be going okay, and then all of a sudden it just hits you, and then you got to find a way to get through. And when you're dealing with the health issues he is, it's really a testament to him and just his persistence and everything that he's been through and suffered through. The fact that he can come back and win a major, just to give hope for all those people who are suffering through what he does, just in regular life. They don't have to go out and win a major,
right,
but they can go out and just do normal things in life. You show that you can do things when you don't really feel that well. If you're able to overcome, you're able to eat well, and you're able to, kind of make the situation as best as you can for yourself.
Last metric we'll look at here is the tee to green total, and one of the things I think that kind of shows you the fact that his game is still basically on par with how he's playing overall is the fact that he still can muscle that ball and take it, like you said, from that tee over to the green, and really did well for himself throughout the entire tournament. But as you said, that second round, that third round, really able to kind of separate himself.
Yep, and you see the final round just kind of hanging on there compared to the first 3 rounds where he really dominated. And that's really where the front nine in the second, third day, when he shot a 64 and those 18 holes, that's really when he won the tournament.
Exactly. So congratulations to Phil. He'll look for the career Grand Slam at the U.S. Open Championship. It's eluded him a few times. We'll see if it gets done a little bit later on this summer. Well, coming up later on right here on Overtime, we will talk SEC baseball. The tournament is back in Alabama. The Hoover Met will once again be packed out for the SEC tournament. We'll talk about it coming up next.